So I am Marnie Turner. I'm the parent liaison for Eaton Great Start. And today I've got Betsy Clinton with me, who's Eaton Great Start's care coordinator, and she's going to be doing the bulk of our presentation. And we also have Kristen Osterhaus with us, who is a quality improvement specialist for Great Start to Quality's Central Resource Center. And I am going to go ahead and just pass it over to Betsy. Betsy, are you ready to go?
Let's rock.
All right.
All right. So basically finding childcare that's right for your family is really one of the most challenging things that you're going to be doing. What we're hoping to do is kind of talk you through the steps to look for childcare. There's basically 5 steps that you're going to be looking at. First of all, you're going to take some time to determine what you need in a program, and what each person needs is going to be unique and different and special to them. Step 2, we're going to have you assess your financial resources and determine what's reasonable for you to spend and for it, and what are the hidden costs in childcare. We're going to talk about how you can search and locate several programs using a search tool, a search engine. And then once you pick out some programs that fit your needs, we're going to talk about how you screen those programs, how you look through kind of the purchaser eye and look at quality issues. And then last, we're going to talk about the steps you need to take to secure the care. All right. So for starters, we're going to talk about what kind of program you want. There are different sorts of programs, and the words sometimes are very specific. When you talk about childcare, it means any kind of childcare, birth through school age. It may also be very specific, so it might be a Head Start program or an early Head Start program. There are very specific childcare programs. Preschool is 3 to 5-year-olds, and it might be in a family or a group program. It might be a center-based program, but preschool specifically is those years right before going to kindergarten. There are specific programs like Early Head Start, and Great Start Readiness Program, or GSRP. These also could be in a family or group home or a center-based program, but they're a free or a low-cost program for eligible families. Families also are looking for school-age programs, before and after care programs, summer-only programs for their older children. All right, so that's the types of programs that are there. The next thing you're going to look at it, what kind of setting you do want. So a center has multiple classrooms, and it services a wide range of ages. The required caregiving for a child ratios is dependent on the age of the child. So it ranges from infants, which is 1 adult for every 4 children, all the way up to preschoolers, which is 1 child for every 12 preschoolers, 1 adult for every child, 12 preschoolers. A family home would be a program that's licensed for up to 6 children, and it can have the full range of ages. There can only be 2 infants under the age of 18 months, and only 4 of the 6 can be under 30 months. And that maximum ratio there would be the 1 to 6. And then a group home is the same idea, but it's up to 12 children with a ratio of 1 to 6, so they would have an assistant working there with them. The next thing, when you're determining what you need in a program, you need to figure out when you actually need care. Do you need it full time? Is it Monday through Friday? Is it just part-time, a few days? Is it just morning or afternoon? And I will let you know, finding just a morning or afternoon program is very difficult. It's usually, if you're there the day, you're there the day. Are you there full year, or do you want a school year program, which would just be September through June? Some folks have times that are outside of the general openings for childcare. So you might need early mornings or a later pickup. You might need overnight care or maybe weekend care. And so you need to know that up front when you're starting to do your search. And I'm finding a lot of folks right now are looking for summer only. Their child just came out of preschool or kindergarten, and they're ready to go to school next fall, but they need something just for the next few months. The next step when you're looking at what you want in a program would be, where is it? So do you need it close to your home, maybe close to your workplace? Do you need it on a bus line? So things to think about of the location. A lot of folks who live in smaller communities, they might want to move outside of their community in a direction that's towards their work, but in a larger city. And then transportation. Is it on the way to where you're going? Does it need to be on a bus line? Do they possibly offer transportation? All right, are there any questions on that so far? Not yet. Feel free to let us know if you need anything, all right? Let's go to the next section. All right, so when you're assessing your financial resources, which is step 2, well, you need to look at what's your total cost, including things like deposits, lunches, registration fees. So are you looking for a free or a low cost program like Early Head Start or GSRP, or are you looking for a tuition-based program? And if you're going to be getting CDC subsidies, some people call it DHS subsidies, will your provider accept those? Not every provider accepts those, so you would need to know that up front. There's also some scholarships you need to make sure they would take. If you're an LCC student or a veteran, some programs take special scholarships from them as well. Childcare in the Eaton County ranges, it says anywhere from 120 a week to 200 plus a week per child. And it is more expensive the younger your child is. So infant care is more expensive than preschool care often. The government recommends that you should be shooting for 10% of your income going towards childcare, but we know for a fact that often it's closer to 20%, and that increases the more children you have as well. If you have a hard time with the fees for it, you can see if your child qualifies for a free or a low cost program like the Head Start or the GSRP program. We have included here the location to go to apply for the program. And then if you want information about it, you would go to the Department of Health and Human Services website that's located here. All right. Are there any questions about finances? You sure? All right.
Sorry, Betsy, I'm going to just jump in. I didn't mention this in the beginning, everyone, but we will be sharing this presentation with you via email afterwards. So you will have access to all of those links to things like Early Head Start, Michigan Bridges. So if you see Betsy kind of going over something and you're thinking, wait, what was that? What was that link? We will be sending you that. And we'll also be sending you kind of just a one sheet that's a very brief kind of overview of the entire presentation that will also have some of those links on there for you.
Thank you, Marnie. I forgot all about saying that. All right. So we're going to go on to step 3 then, which is using the search tool. So Great Start to Quality has created a program that searches for a program in your area. You can use your address or your city to search for this. This would have all of the programs in your area. So you don't have to do this and then search somewhere else also, or find another list also. All of the sites, all the programs in your area would come up when you search, which is kind of a relief, because if you ever looked and felt like I'm missing something, you're not missing anything. Any licensed program would be on this search. So what you're going to do is you're going to start at greatstarttoquality.org. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to talk you through the steps, and then we're actually going to do a search together so that you can see how it works. All right. So when you go in, you're going to click on families, and then you're going to choose finding childcare and preschool. Now, each of these pages will give you a little bit of information about looking for childcare. Once you click find programs, it's going to be a login page. Now you can create an account. And if you do that, you can then save your searches. So if you're going to be searching, you might want to do that. I tend to go in as a guest because I don't need to save my searches. So if you log in as a guest, you can just click on the green button and go right in. You'll see 3 tabs when you get to the first page. One says find, one says type, and one says program. The find tabs talks about the different program options, the licensed centers, the licensed family homes, and the licensed group homes. And remember that family house is up to 6 children and the group homes is up to 12 children. That next tab is the word type. And that's if you're looking for something real specific, like maybe a faith-based program or a Montessori program, or maybe you're looking just for school-age children. If you click that button, it will eliminate the programs that don't meet that criteria. The last tab is program. If you know the name of a program that you're interested in and want to find out more about it, You can type that name right in here and it will help you find it so you can read what they have to say. I just want to let you know that if you do not type it exactly like it is in the system, it doesn't find it. So if you type it and it says no such thing, maybe put just one of the words in or change how it's typed in, make sure the capitals are there, just to see if you can get it to find it if it's not showing up. Okay, so the next site is location, and this is a required field. It won't do a search unless you put something in. You can put in your city or your zip code, and it would give locations around you. And there's also, we're going to talk later, you can also put your address in specifically. If you do put in your address, you have to make sure you put both the city and the zip code in. Otherwise, it doesn't do the search. So make sure you put both in. Underneath, there's two filters. One is the ages of child, which is an optional field. And the other one is days and hours. If you're looking for nights or weekends, you would want to put that in there because that would help you focus your search on what you're looking for. I want you to understand though that the more filters you put on, the fewer things show up. And a lot of times the providers get really busy and they don't update their profiles. So their hours might have changed, but they haven't updated it on their profile. So don't automatically eliminate someone because they didn't meet every criteria. Give them a call and talk to them and see if maybe you might still be a good match. All right. So once you want to do a search, there's things you can do to even narrow your search though. So for example, the times you need. So you need part-time or full-time? Do you need nights, weekends? Sometimes there's funding sources that you can narrow your search with. So is there a sibling discount or CDC subsidies, etc. You might want to look for affiliations with professional organizations, or if they'll help work with your child if they have such issues as autism or developmental delays, food allergies, etc. Now remember, the more things you enter in the search, the fewer programs will come back. And just because it's not on your profile doesn't mean that they won't do it. So just because it doesn't say they work with food allergies doesn't mean that the program won't work with you. All right. Now, when you do a search, this is kind of what pops up here, and it would be the name of all the programs that fit the criteria that you put into it. At the corner of each page, it has a little blue button that says more info. And when you click in there, the providers have given more information about their program. Now, it depends on what the providers gave there, but it might include costs. It might talk about capacity or meals, hours open, full year versus school year. If they take the CDC subsidies, are the meals provided? All of that information might show up under that more info slot. It also will have a place to check licensing reports. Now, licensing, if there are any licensing concerns, corrective action plans, etc., they'll show up there. Now, reports on licensing are a regular part of being a licensed center. A corrective action plan shows the program's commitment to grow and improve as a center. What you're looking for is repeated finders or serious offense, but having a corrective plan, it does not rule out a program. All right, that's really important to understand. You'll also see a great start of quality rating. And Kristen, do you want to explain a little bit of the Great Start ratings?
Absolutely, sure. So I'm Kristen Osterhaus. Part of my job is helping licensed providers in Eaton County to participate with Great Start to Quality. So what that means when they participate, and if they don't participate, that's okay. That doesn't mean they're not a great, amazing program. It just means for whatever reason, they're just not choosing to participate. So I always make sure I say that right off the get-go. And so what you see, so for example, on the screen, it looks like this first program has 2 stars. So they're out of 5. And so what that means is this program has worked on some quality improvements on their program, and they're taking a step above what is required from licensing. So again, just because you might not, it's the, and we don't look at it as like a hotel rating, although I can see why some may, right? Which is very easy to do. That's understandable. But this is really just showcasing the quality. And one other thing I just want to mention too is that if you search something and maybe you want a specific you know, a specific, like Betsy was saying about autism, working with autism, things like that. We're finding right now some providers are so busy that they don't always have time to update that profile. So just something to be mindful of. But moving forward, if you have any questions about the star rating, we can talk more about that, or I can definitely provide that information more at a later time. So.
Thanks, Kristen. Just a reminder that all the programs that show up in the search engine are licensed programs, so they're meeting licensing requirements and are safe and reputable care providers. All right, so we're going to try to do a live search now using the Great Start to Quality website. So just kind of demonstrate how it goes. So this is where we're going to go, Great Start to Quality. And Marnie's pushing all the buttons.
Hold on, I gotta get there, you guys.
I'm glad you're pushing all the buttons.
Oh, that's going to the wrong website. Great Start to Quality. Okay, now we're gonna share again. Share screen. Where are we?
Oh, this has got the baby.
Okay, I'm ready to go, Betsy.
All right, so when we get there, we're going to click families, and then we're going to click finding childcare. Now it's going to have a little bit of information there about what we talked about, what a group home is, what a family home is, what you're looking for. When we're done looking through that, we're going to go to the right and click find programs. We're going to enter. I'm going to enter as a guest, but if you want, you give an email address and a password, and you would have your own account so you could save things. All right. So for the first one, I'm going to pretend that I'm looking in Eaton Rapids. So I'm going to say I want all programs available. So the licensed care, the home care, group home and centers. And under city, I'm going to write Eaton Rapids. You have to click on the little blue box that shows up underneath it, or it doesn't show up. All right, and then you're going to click find. And it's thinking, and then it came up with 18. Now, as you buzz through all of these, you'll notice some of them are, for example, a Head Start program. It only takes children ages 3 and up. So you're going to have to peek when you look at all these, make sure it's the age group that's good for you. I wanted to show you something though. So we had 18 results on this one. If we backed back out again and or changed our search basics, and we said we only want a family or a group home. We don't want a licensed center anymore. All right, now we click on that. And suddenly we go from 18 to 9. So we've eliminated half of the programs available. Let's go to Miss Mary's, if you would slide down to that. So here's Miss Mary's. I'll click the more information button, and it'll show you kind of what the report would show you when you're looking. So it has a little bit more information. It has your licensing information on the right side there at the little blue highlight. If you move down, it tells you how many openings they have, if that's been updated. Actually, let's go back up, Marnie, to where the license report is and just click on that so they can see what that looks like. When you open it up, it just has the licensing information for you. And if you move down further, it has actually the reports, the inspection reports, and the times that licensing comes and checks the program, which is a routine part of a program. So if we click view on the first one, it would just, you would see that it would just have the information there saying, you know, there were no rule violations, here we go. All right, so that's what it looks like when you go there. Marnie, if you'd be willing, I want to go back out again. Yeah, so click on the X and then go back to the options there. And let's, oh, I'm sorry, what I want to show you is right here at the top. So there's a couple of these green boxes along the top, one that says share, one, and if you click on share, you can email the reports that you decide you like to yourself, or you can print them. So if you want to have a list to make phone calls from, you can print that right out. If you look under view, it has two options. One that's like this is called the summary view. But if you click the compare view, it compresses this information into a single page that's like quick to compare one another. It has the phone numbers, it has how far, you know, where it is, it has what age of the children are. Now, one of the things we can do is if you would move back out again to the beginning of the search, Marnie, we're going to put in an address. And I'll just tell you, I'm putting in Eaton Rapids High School's address, so I'm not sneaking up on anyone's home. So the address is 800 State Street. And that's in Eaton Rapids. And as I said, you have to put a zip code, which is 48827. And you have to back it up because yeah, there you go, 48827. It's not cooperating. There we go. And you're going to go down and click the find button. Oh, I'm sorry. Before you do this, you see the little line underneath that it says the radius? You can slide that to how far you're willing to drive. So you could slide it and say, okay, let's go within 15 miles. You can slide that up and it would put with, so now you're looking directly around your home. And when you click find, this is going to show all the programs that are right around the high school. So if you live by the high school, it has 94 results for this one in Eaton Rapids.
Well, and I just want to point out, Betsy, 15 miles basically takes you across most of the county.
Yes.
So definitely, I mean, that's a, if
Very
we
good
went back
point.
and did like 2 miles, then you would get a much more compact.
Right. Actually,
So, and it's fine. We'll just keep going, but that's just, yeah,
Very
94.
good
We don't
point.
necessarily have 94 within a, you know, a stone's throw of the high school there.
She forgets I lived in the middle of nowhere. 15 miles was nothing. So, if you click the map view, what it'll do now is it will show all of these places in relationship to where you live. So you can then take a peek and say, well, this is where I work and here's where they are. And it helps you kind of select the ones that work the best for you. All right. Are there any questions about the search? Things that look like you got it? Okay. So let's say you go through, you find a couple programs that look good to you on paper. You are going to want to call the provider and you want to, the catch is they may or may not have an opening. So you're going to call, and in order to save time for you, people often call and try to explain their whole life story. Don't do it. Just say, I have a child, he's 4 years old. I need Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Do you have any openings? And then it's a yes or no. Now, if they say yes, now is the glorious moment for you, because now you should have a little list of questions, just maybe 3 questions that are your top things that you want to ask this person to know if you're going to move forward with looking at them. It might be, how much do you cost a week? It might be, do you take the CDC subsidy? Or I have a child who has, you know, nutritional issues, allergies. I have a child who has autism. Will you take them? Figure out what the bottom line questions are for you just to even get in the door. So have that ready when you call, because you're going to be so excited when they say, yes, I have an opening. All right. So now we're going to have you screen the program. And this is the part where there's a guide in the Great Start to Quality pages that's called, is this the right place for my child? It's a really extensive guide that has every question in the world that you would ever want to ask. And it's amazing. It also has a checklist there that you could go to. And if you get just the checklist, you can see all these questions. But the bottom line is you want to figure out what you need to feel safe and happy having your child go there. It might be when the services are available, the times. You might have some questions about supervision or disciplines. You might want to ask a little bit about ratios or what kind of positive guidance techniques they use with the kids. Or how do you handle it when child misbehaves? Just to get a kind of a sense of where the provider is and how they approach things. You might want to ask questions about lesson plans, daily activities. What does a daily, what does a day look like in the care? You might have some health or safety issues. Are you first aid trained? Are you CPR trained? Do they have a first aid kit? What are the sanitary practices right now? So all of these are options that you might want to ask. You might want to ask questions about the outdoor area. Is it fenced? Is it in good condition? And then policies. What's your policy if my child is sick? When are you closed? Are you accredited as an outside agency? When do you have any outside evaluations done? These all might be questions. Are the policies in writing? So all of these are things that you need to figure out what's the most important to you and write those down, because when you go to visit, you're going to want to have these. All right. So now you're ready to actually go visit the programs. When you're looking at the program, it's a little overwhelming because you're just seeing everything and you're visualizing your child in the childcare. So it's often helpful if you can bring an extra adult with you. They'll see things that you didn't see. They might pick up something that you missed, and they'll also hear everything that you're hearing, but remember it better than you will because you're so like in the moment. When you get to that new program,
And
you want to look,
Betsy,
yes.
sorry. So we'll go over this part kind of as a quick overview, and then we're going to invite Kristen to give us a really deep dive into what quality looks like. So just for the flow. Okay.
So I'll skim. What, do you want to take over right now, Kristen, or should I do a quick skim?
A skim would be good.
I'll skim. All right. So you're looking for signs of quality when you're there. The first thing is look at that relationship with the children. Are the children smiling and happy? Are they looking to the provider with like love and eagerness to show them things? Are the adults sitting with the kids and playing with the kids? Is the program organized and clean? Please keep in mind, toys all over the place is not a sign of mess. It means the kids are engaged and busy and active. And as is your living room, it's going to have toys everywhere. That's fine. Is the equipment in good condition? Do you see evidence of instruction going on, a reading area, lesson plans, that kind of thing? And does it look safe and healthy? Hand washing, clean, sanitary, no electric sockets open, cords all hooked up, medicine and cleaning products put away. So just basic signs of a safe environment and a clean and a wonderful environment. Signs of concern, you might say the building doesn't seem secure or the staff is not welcoming. You might see that the adults really aren't talking to their kids, or the kids are unsupervised. You might not see areas of the program that are really play areas, any yelling or negative language, broken toys, TV instead of interactions, and any dangerous items like knives or scissors being left out or cleaning products being within the reach of children. Now, Kristen, why don't you go in a little deeper for us?
Okay, perfect. I have a PowerPoint. Is that okay to do right now then?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. So hello, I'm Kristen Osterhaus, and I just prepared a short little quick PowerPoint, diving a little bit more into what Betsy was just covering. So let me share my screen and bring that up. Okay, here we go. What does a high quality program look like? All right, so this is just me. This is my contact information. I can also send this PowerPoint out if families would like it as well. This is just a quick snapshot of myself and my position and my contact information. And I am in the Lansing office. And recently, Marnie and Betsy were nice enough to help me and distribute a survey to Eaton County parents. And what we wanted to look at is what was their why? What was most important? What were families looking for when they're choosing their childcare program? And so the results are listed right here. They're most important. So I asked them to rank a scale from 1 to 8, 1 being the most important and 8 being the least important. And as you see, folks in Eaton County have said that the star rated program is one of the most important things that they look at. And then you see down the line, we have tuition affordability. Look, and then we got the next 3 kind of all right in line. We got tuition, affordability, location, and other, whether that be a curriculum that they're specifically looking for, whether it be a specific program like Reggio or Montessori, and so forth. So I just wanted to showcase you those results. So let's explore. What does a high quality childcare program look like? So I asked two Eaton County providers what they could share, and they said that how they define high quality care is we not only provide safe care for their children while they are working or going to school, but we as childcare providers be sure they are ready to enter kindergarten with the basic knowledge, like knowing how to write their name, their colors, shapes, counting, alphabet, playing with others, sharing, and listening, etc. And this, I believe, was a provider in Charlotte. And I believe this is a provider in Eaton Rapids. And they said it's very important to know that each child is different and you have to figure out individual care for kids and families. We work on pre-K preparation and we try to accommodate everyone's needs. We talk about bullying, emotions, respect for each other, and we're very family oriented. All right, so what does high quality look like? Well, in high quality programs, and one thing I wanted to mention, a lot of this verbiage that I'm going to talk about says preschool, but it applies to the birth through preschool programs. So children will develop positive relationships with each other and their teachers. And so teachers are warm and caring. They're getting not only to know the child, but the family as well. The more that the teachers know about the child and family, the better that they can help support both of them. Teachers help children learn how to play, work together, and make friends. They plan activities so that all children can join and be inclusive. And they try to include every child's family with their language and culture in their program. High quality program, teachers are going to set up the classroom. They're going to choose materials and plan activities that support children's learning. With that said, they're also going to provide materials and activities that interest children and challenge them. They will also encourage children's efforts by making specific comments and setting clear limits for children's behavior and explain the reasons. All right, planning and adapting curriculum. So a curriculum is based on what most children should know and what they should be able to do. And by adapting and having teachers plan, they can help them grow by setting and learning goals for children that are challenging but achievable with help. Balancing group activities and instruction guided by the teacher with activities children choose themselves, and providing enough time for children to get deeply involved in activities and learning. And of course, paying attention to and supporting children's interests, skills, and knowledge. All right, and assessment. So through regular assessment, teachers understand what each child can, what they can do and what they know. And this helps them decide which materials, activities, and experiences to add to help children continue learning. So teachers assess children's learning and development by regularly taking notes on what children do and say, by collecting samples of their children's drawings and writings, taking photos of what they make, using screening tests, and asking you what activities your child does at home and what interests there are. So most of the time, a lot of this information is going to happen all year round. And teachers will make set time to have a formal conference with the family and talk about all these amazing things that's happening. And I am very passionate about this, relationships with families. It's very important that teachers partner with the families because the families are the child's first teacher and they know the child the best. So the more that they can partner with the families, the better. And the teachers want to, listen to family goals and concerns for their children. The teachers want to encourage families to participate in the program. And of course, showing respect because every family is different. And trying to find ways to communicate in a family's home language if it's different. So that's a huge part of high quality is developing those relationships with families. And that's all I had. Thank you. Eaton Parents Rock. And then of course there was my reference. I went to NACCE and I I looked up some of their high quality programming, and I can stop sharing. And
Kristen, thank you. That was wonderful.
that's what
I appreciate it.
I'd be happy to answer any questions if there are any. But I appreciate you letting me share.
All right.
Thanks,
So-
Kristen.
That was beautiful. So we had talked about maybe looking at policies. So these are things that are going to be important to you down the line. Things like the prices. Is it full days or part-time? Some programs only run full-time, so you'll need to know that. What is the payment policy? Is there an application fee or a registration fee? Do I pay when my child is sick? Are there vacation days? Are you closed for what holidays? So those real technical questions. Is there a sibling discount? Is always a lovely one if you have more than one child. Pick up and drop off times. Is there a late fee if you're late? And find out what that policy is. Are the children required to have immunizations? And are the staff certified or in first aid or CPR? You might want to ask questions about sanitizing, questions about food, because some programs provide food, others don't. And this is a good time to talk about any allergies that exist in your child if they have them, or if you know about them. You're going to maybe ask some questions about philosophies or about discipline policies. You might want to know if there's a parent visit policies, like can you just pop in anytime, check out your kiddo. You might, if your child is close to the potty training time, you might have a discussion about how they go about potty training and see if that jives with what you're going to be doing. And communication, how are you going to know what's going on? Your child, especially if they're nonverbal yet, what did they do all day long is going to be a question that you're going to be dying to know, and that kid's not going to tell you anything. So you want to make sure you're getting newsletters or written notes about what they did during the day. Is there a time to have a conference just to see how they're doing overall? So those communication issues. All right, so any questions right now? No? Okay, so you decide on a childcare program.
Betsy, looks like Alyssa's got a question. Go ahead, Alyssa.
Thanks. If it's not the appropriate time, I can wait till the end too.
No, go right ahead.
Okay. I'm wondering for like an infant or a newborn, what should we really be looking for curriculum wise? I know obviously there's not too much that they can be doing, but any kind of red flags or green signals we should be looking for that shows that they kind of have thought through the curriculum and the babies are being more intentionally interacted with?
That's a great question. A couple things. When you walk in the room, I'm hoping that you're going to find things down on the child's level that they can explore. So there should be toys, there should be textures. It should be safe. So you want to really look on that, like basically, if you need to, get on the ground and crawl around. Is it safe down there? Are there activities that the child can be involved in? If all the babies are in temporary containment, so for example, in a buggy or a activity center, whatever, if they're always there, that's not necessarily a good thing. We want them on the ground and exploring and crawling around. So those little Johnny jump ups and those little activity centers are great for a little bit of time every day, but really life is one big science experiment for an infant, and you want them down and crawling and picking things up. You want to have a caregiver who is aware of developmental levels so that they know, they should be rolling over by now. We're going to do some extra activities to help develop those skills. And giving them some unique things to do. So letting them finger paint with baby food, or letting them try playing with snow, or having just different experiences is really how an infant learns. That, I mean, their curriculum is just exploring the world, but you do want to make sure that your caregiver is giving them new things to do, that they're not just plopping that nice docile baby in front of a TV set and saying, yeah, you're good to go. So when you're there, look and make sure that we're not just playing with the oldest kids, but are we playing with the babies? And in a center, you want to make sure that the equipment is safe and in good condition, and that there's some variety and some interest in there.
And Alyssa, I'll just add that the biggest thing you can do is just ask them what their infant curriculum is, or And you may not, in a center, that's definitely something that should usually exist. In a family or a group home, they may not call it a curriculum, but just ask, what do you do with the babies all day? What type of learning is taking place? And if that provider can't really quickly just shoot back at you all the things that are happening, then that's a time to maybe just take a pause. So whether they're calling it a curriculum or not is not as important as them just having a good answer for you about, what kind of learning is happening, with an infant, because it is happening. And, you'll see in like an AC accredited center that, even in an infant room, they'll have the curriculum posted right out on the wall. So you can see, and there'll be theme months, and there'll be, and it's all, to what Betsy said, what seems like really basic things. So, playing with different textures or exploring in the grass, but that it's thought out, that there's a plan ahead of time is really what you're looking at more than anything at that infant age, that those providers are putting some thought into what they're doing day to day.
And the younger the child, the more time is actually having to be spent in the day-to-day care. So the diapering, the feeding, and the sleeping takes up a huge part of their day. So you want to make sure that when they are awake and alert, that they are having some fun activities moving past them, and so they can engage in them.
And if I can just add, I would just say if a parent is ever wondering about a certain curriculum and wants more information on that specific one, that's my department. You would give the central resource a call and we can give you some more information regarding that. But yes, there are specific curriculums for infants and toddlers. But again, if they're not using them, it doesn't mean that they're not a great program. They may sometimes providers will incorporate, some play-based with maybe some other type of curriculum and things like that. So really, again, like Marnie was saying, just taking time and asking those questions, and if not only are Betsy, Marnie, and then there's myself and my other coworkers. So there's tons of support. So never feel like, ask away, ask us, we're here to help. So.
All right. So you found a program that's going to work for your family. You're really excited. There are some next steps that you have to take. The first thing is you need to confirm with that program that you're ready to take that spot. Just because you looked at a program does not mean they're holding that spot for you, and other people might be looking at it as well. So you need to call them as soon as you've decided, I want this spot. What do I need to do to hold the spot? Some folks have an application fee or a deposit or something to hold the spot for you. So you're going to need to get them that money to hold that spot. Don't wait on that. Then they're going to have some paperwork that you need to fill out. An application, health forms, child information forms that will have to get filled out before your child starts. Your child has to have a medical release form, which you'll get from your provider, and that has to be done within 30 days of their starting the program. I recommend you get it done as soon as you can, just so it doesn't get forgotten. And then if you're getting CDC subsidies, you need to complete a form there. It's the DHS 4025. And you have to have your provider sign it and upload it to your MyBridges account. So you want to make sure you do that as quickly as possible. Decide on your start dates. So when are you going to start? And then you need to back up and have some visit days. You want to have your infant, your toddler, or your preschooler comfortable when you're finally ready to leave them for a full day. So can they come and visit for a couple days, spend a short amount of time there, and just kind of get used to that new program. And if you want some more information about how to prepare your child to transition to a new program, there is a site there to go and check out an article. All right. Any questions? No. I'm so glad you were able to join us today. I wish you good luck with your search. And I hope you find a program that is a perfect match for your family.
Thank you so much, Betsy. I really appreciate all of your work on helping put this together. I know that when I was looking for childcare, I didn't have any idea what I was doing. I would have loved to have a step-by-step process of how to go through that. I do want to remind everybody that I will be sending out an email that includes this presentation, includes some different resources for you. Remind you that if you have questions, I'm available, Betsy's available, Kristen's available. There are lots of resources available to help you in your search. And really make use of that Great Start to Quality search engine. Again, that will show you every licensed provider, not only in your area, but the state. They're all there. You don't have to take time going from website to Google search to asking. And don't get me wrong, word of mouth is great. And you do want to ask around for recommendations, but to really get started and just see what is even available around you, that's going to tell you everything. And sometimes you'll be surprised. Sometimes there's an amazing home provider, 2 blocks over from your house, or an amazing group provider that's right next to the school that you drop your 7-year-old off anyway. So it's just a really wonderful resource that exists, and it literally has all of the information that you need to at least get to the point of calling those providers, and then maybe doing that extra digging. So definitely make use of that. Kristen, do you have anything to add? I'm so happy you were able to join us today.
No, I just, no, I don't have anything else to add. I think everything was covered beautifully, and I will make sure that I can get you the PowerPoint too, Marnie, if you want.
That'd be wonderful, and I can share that out as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, does anybody have any more questions before we go? All right, sounds good. And when you think of those questions later, shoot us an email, give us a call, because it does happen. And thank you guys again for joining us. And it looks like the sun might be coming out, so go and enjoy a few minutes outside without the rain.